Hey you all. So before you get started with the lesson today, I just want to remind you to make sure that you go back and finish the math warm-up and that you really understand it because you're going to need to add fractions with unlike denominators later in this lesson. There's also a link that you can click at the bottom of the math warm-up to review how to do it if you did forget. I feel like it never hurts to just go back and learn it one more time. All right, so today we're going to learn how to multiply mixed numbers using an area model. So you all have learned how to multiply fractions that look like this. Today we're going to learn how to multiply fractions that look like this, mixed number fractions, using an area model, which we've done area models before, so the first thing we're going to do is review that. So we're going to review with 28 times 6 because they're whole numbers. So I made an area model that has a length of 28, but I broke apart the 28 to 20 and 8, and then it has a width of 6. So then I can multiply my length times width, but I can do it in pieces, and that's what an area model does. So I can do 20 times 6, which I know is 120, and then I can do 8 times 6, which I know is 48. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, and then I'll show you the last step. Alrighty, so I found part of the area here, 120, and then part of the area here, 48. So in order to find the total area of the shape, I need to add these together, which I got 168. So now I'm going to ask you to pause your video and see if you can make a model, an area model for a multiplication problem with a fraction in it. So here I've got 4 2/3 times 7, and I even have an area model below it that's blank that you can use as a reference. See if you can make an area model for this without me even teaching it. Then you can hit play and check to see if your work matches mine. All right, so I broke my 4 2/3 up into 4 2/3, and now I'm going to use partial products to multiply each piece. So I'm going to do 4 times 7, which I know is 28. And then I'm going to do 2/3 times 7. Now to do this, I thought it would be easier if I made my 7 into a fraction. So I'm going to do 2/3 times 7 over 1 because I know that I can put a whole number over 1 and it means the same thing. So I'm going to do 2 times 7 is 14, and then 3 times 1 is 3 because when we multiply fractions, we can multiply across. I know that this is improper, so I'm going to change it into a mixed number. So 3 goes into 14 4 times to make 12. And then there's 2 left over. So it goes in there 4 times, and then the remainder is 2/3. All right, so now I have each part of the area, and I need to add these together in order to find the total area. So I'm going to pause my video and do that, and then put my answer up here. All right, so I added 28 plus 4 2/3, and I got 32 2/3. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to multiply two mixed numbers together. Okay, so I have the fractions 1 3/4. Oh, this should be multiplied times 2 1/3. So I'm going to create an area model with these fractions. And if you want to pause the video and see if you can make your own area model and check against mine, you can do that and then hit play and see if yours matches mine. All right, so first I'm going to separate my 1 3/4, and then I'm going to separate my 2 1/3. So it looks like I'm going to have 4 squares in my area model instead of 2 like I did on the last one because I broke it apart on the other side as well. All right, so now I can multiply this out to get a bunch of smaller areas that I need to add together. So I'm going to do 1 times 2 is 2. 3/4 times 2, I can do 3/4 times 2 over 1, which is 6/4. And I'm going to leave that improper because I have to add them all together at the end anyway. And then 1 times 1/3 is 1/3. Love that. And then 3/4 times 1/3. I'm just going to do that on the side over here. So 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12 is 3/12. All right, so now I actually need to add all of these together But I'm noticing that that's going to be a little bit difficult because I have a 4 in the denominator, a 3 in the denominator, a 12 in the denominator. So my denominators don't match. So that brings us back to the math warm-up where we practiced adding unlike denominators. So I'm going to erase my board and I'm going to rewrite these all out as an addition problem. And if you find this part of the video very confusing, please go back to the math warm-up and watch that video link on how to add denominators. I think that's going to help you a lot. And then if you're still stuck, email your teacher and they will help you. So this is the last step of this problem and this video. And now we just have to add all of the little products that we found in each square. We need to add those together with a common denominator. So I'm looking and I know that just by looking at this, I can use a common denominator of 12 because 3 times 4 is 12 and 4 times 3 is 12. So I know that I can find a multiple that is 12 in all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and find a common denominator and rewrite these fractions below. Again, if you're not sure how to find a common denominator, go back to that link in the math warm-up. So I rewrote these fractions with a common denominator down here. So because I know like 4 times 3 is 12, so then 6 times 3 is 18, so my new fraction is 18/12. I did that with this one as well, multiplying by 4. Now I'm going to add all of these up, and I'm going to get 2 and 25 over 12. So this is an improper fraction because I have 25 over 12 over here. So I know that 12 goes into 25 twice, and there's 1 left over. So then I'm going to have, my answer is really going to be 4 and 1/12 because I pulled 2 out of there and I had 1 left. All right, so your assignment today is at the bottom of the Google Classroom sheet, and it has all of the math journal problems on there. So go ahead and work on those, and if you have any questions, again, reach out and ask your teacher for help. But you can also go back and replay parts of this video if you forgot how to do the math.